Ladies and gentlemen, the launch of Battlefield 6 is now about a week old, and needless to say, the game is going gangbusters. I have been having a great time on multiplayer. There's a ton of videos of me playing it, doing various different challenges over on Ink TV. We played the campaign, talked about the campaign, and it's interesting because what if I told you that a lot more of the campaign might actually be stolen from Call of Duty than you maybe realize? Now, I know you're probably immediately mad. You're thinking Battlefield good, Call of Duty and Activision bad, but hear me out before you go and troll into the comments and tell me that I'm a shill or whatever you want to say, because there is a lot of interesting things going on here. Whether I'm just talking about a voice line here or there, or whether I'm talking about a mission that was quite literally taken nearly one for one, I think you'll see what I mean by the end of this video. But before we get to those things, I first have to give you a little bit of backstory. You see, Battlefield 6 is run by a man by the name of Vince Zampella. Now, Vince Zampella is considered by many to be the godfather of Call of Duty, but what you may not know is he didn't start there. He actually began his career working at EA on a little game that you probably know of as Medal of Honor. Now, this game went pretty big, and after which EA said, okay, we're gonna hand this off to someone else, and Vince Zampella, being pretty mad at that, literally left and went to the direct competitor of EA, that being Activision, at which he would find his own studio by the name of Infinity Ward. They would be working on a project with the code name of Medal of Honor Killer, which would turn then into be Call of Duty, after which he would work on Call of Duty 2, Modern Warfare or Call of Duty 4, as well as Modern Warfare 2. Now, it was during the release of Modern Warfare 2 that Activision fired him because they didn't want to pay him basically a $36 million bonus, in which he then sued Activision and then won. But that wasn't enough for him. He then said, screw you, once again going back to his original employer, EA, and founding the studio by the name of Respawn, which he would then work on Titanfall, the Jedi Survivor games, and of course, Apex Legends. Now, it was at this time that EA's baby, which was known as Battlefield with Battlefield 2042, was absolutely failing. So EA would then take the keys to the castle, hand them off to everyone's seemingly problem child, Vince Zampella, and he would take the reins creating Battlefield 6. Now, you can see some of his inspiration in various different times when it comes to certain voice lines within the game. In the mission where you are escaping from Cairo at the very end, Has Carter, the leader, the bearded leader of the group, says this. Which, let's be honest, that phrase, "we are leaving," is pretty vague, but if you remember from the original Call of Duty 4, the one Vince Zampella was in charge of, well, this was Captain Price line at the end of one of the missions named Crew Expendables.
The ship's sinking! We've got to go, now!
Six, come in, damn it!
Big Bird, this is Bravo 6, we're on our way out! On your feet, soldier! We are leaving!
Or even being a little bit more specific than that, one of Captain Price's favorite lines and what he would tell you to do as one of his underlings was to always check your corners.
Go. Check those corners. Move. Check those corners. Clear right, clear left. Hallway.
Now, when we get to one of the crescendos of the campaign, and just so you know, this is a spoiler, but when we get there, we seemingly have the upper hand on Kincaid, who, by the way, is voiced by the same guy that voiced McMillan back in Modern Warfare 3. But anyway, this is what he ends up saying.
Murphy, you all right? Didn't check your corners.
Now, inspiration is one thing, and I think you can clearly see that here, but let's move into some more specific examples of exact missions. Now, this one I wouldn't say is stealing whatsoever, as it's quite a common thing, but just one example. So in the mission that actually takes place right after that, called Nile Guard, where you are in a tank, eventually a chopper overhead gets taken down, and you need to get out of the tank, and eventually this is how the mission ends.
Stop! It's the bird! Stop! Hurry! just have to... Good to see you, Commander.
Likewise. Just you.
He didn't make it.
I'm sorry for our loss. But we have to fight on. You with me?
Until the end.
Glad to hear it. Captain Yasta is safe and secured.
Well, similarly, in Call of Duty 4, there was a mission called Shock and Awe. It's actually one of the most famous missions of all time. But at one point, a helicopter pilot gets shot down. You go in to save him, and lo and behold, this very similar thing happens. Now again, a little thing called Black Hawk Down does indeed exist, so really saving a downed helicopter pilot really isn't anything crazy. However, let's go to the first mission of the Battlefield 6 campaign. At the very end of this mission, you, playing as Dylan Murphy, and your squad get shot down out of the air, and it leads you to this one last standoff inside of a helicopter. Well, in another game that Vince Zampella worked on, known as Modern Warfare 2, there is a mission called Second Son, where the mission begins with you in a downed helicopter, being handed a weapon by a friendly soldier.
Take this and stay down! Waste down!
So similarly, you have a standoff from the inside of the downed helicopter. What's even more interesting, though, is the way that this section of the mission ends is a giant light of an EMP in the sky. Well, in Battlefield 6, this section ends not from an EMP, but once again, a bright light in the sky. So again, an interesting coincidence, but the similarities continue to go on, as in the New York City mission, eventually in Battlefield 6, you end up having to follow a train through the subway station. Well, lo and behold, this is the subway chase scene from Mind the Gap in the original Modern Warfare 3. Now, keep in mind, this wasn't a game that Vince Zampella worked on, or at least was credited on. Now, again, not the exact same thing, and we have to acknowledge that these are war games. There's only enough things that they can war in one game. But what if there was a mission where the entire layout was inspired or even taken by another game? Well, this is when we get to the big one, the reason why I started to make this video to begin with. This mission goes by the name of Clean House. Now, this is in Modern Warfare 2019, the reboot of Modern Warfare. And hey, maybe Vince Zampella felt like Call of Duty stole the entire name from him, so he was going to steal their best mission. Because here's the thing with Clean House. Clean House may be the greatest single-player Call of Duty mission of all time. It's extremely short, coming in at around 6 minutes, but it is immersive and incredibly detailed. After you're making your way inside this small house, essentially in the mission, you are making your way into a terrorist sect that is hidden out in this small 3 to 4 story apartment, depending on whether you could take the attic into account. Now, the second you go through the front window, you make your way in and you see this kind of kitchen slash dining room area on the left-hand side. On the right, there is a door, and as you turn around, there is a staircase on your left-hand side. Now, slowly, you make your way up the stairs with a team of soldiers. When you do, there is a door on your right. You work your way through the door, eliminating the terrorists in the area, and then make your way up the next set of stairs. Well, if this sounds familiar, it's because it's the exact same layout as a section of the mission No Sleep that takes place in New York. In this mission, you break your way into a building similar with your team, eventually making your way up to the main floor, where you work your way through the kitchen slash dining room on the left. You turn around, have the staircase on your left, slowly make your way up top, on which the right hand side there's rooms that you have to breach and clear. Go through and make your way to the next set of staircase. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, this is similar, but come on. It's not the exact same. Well, that may be because the first time you played Clean House, you played with night vision. But what if you didn't play with night vision? Well, on the left-hand side here, you can see Battlefield, and on the right-hand side, you can see Call of Duty. You can see the exact same layout of the building, and you can see the similarities in how you move throughout the two different buildings. But just a couple more similarities while we're here. So going just into Modern Warfare here, you'll see as you go up to the third story of the building, you'll see that a kind of bookshelf with some teddy bears is blocking you from going straight to the next set of staircases. The reason for this is because it actually forces you to go inside of the rooms to take out the terrorists in there, as opposed to just running up the next flight of stairs. Well, we get to Battlefield and they do the exact same thing, but this time with a couch instead of a bookshelf. And then finally, we get to how the mission ends. In Battlefield 6, we kind of get to the top of the building, and inside this attic-style building, we find out about Kincaid's plans, find them all over the table, and lo and behold, it is the exact same thing for Modern Warfare 2019. However, this time, it is not a PMC, it is a terrorist sect that once again we find in this attic-style room. And maybe that's still not enough for you, but there is one other thing. In Battlefield 6, you can also do the mission in night vision. I didn't realize that on my first playthrough, but yeah, you can indeed use night vision. And then in that case, it looks even more like Clean House. Now, I don't know whether you want to say this is a blatant ripoff or stealing it or anything along those lines, but the similarities are uncanny. And when they stack up in the way that they did with Battlefield 6, it lends some questions out there. And I'd be very curious to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments. Did Battlefield 6 steal a bunch of parts from campaigns from various Call of Duty games? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, turn notifications on, all that jazz. And until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars.